What's up, y'all? We're back here with another video. Today I want to cover something that a lot of people overlook because it's really simple. I mean, I say this in so many videos, right? There are so many simple concepts that we overcomplicate and turn it to something that it isn't. We suffer because of it, simply because we don't stick with the fundamentals and grow from there. A lot of the stuff you're seeking in life is actually incredibly simple if you just stick with the program, if you just stick with the plan. We, like people like me, I want to do a million different things at once, right? And so I'll see this new shiny thing over here, and instead of just sticking with the plan, I'll be wanting to chase after this shiny thing. If you look at the best players in sports, right? If you look at the best performers, the best athletes, the top of their field, they're always incredibly good at the fundamentals. It doesn't matter if it's basketball or baseball or whatever it may be. The best people in any profession, in any field, are always incredible at the fundamentals. There's this player named Tim Duncan. If you've never played basketball or really watched basketball, then he's basically a center. He was like really tall. He was like 7 foot. Basically, in basketball, if you're unaware, a center is kind of the guy who anchors the post. He's trying to get rebounds. He's trying to make space for his team. He's usually kind of hanging around the paint to try and get good looks at the rim, right? Tim Duncan was literally called the big fundamental because he didn't do anything super flashy. He didn't do anything, but instead he was just incredibly good at the fundamentals. He would always be in the right spot. He'd always be making the right moves. He'd always be making the right choices. Like, it didn't matter that he didn't have anything flashy because he was so good at executing the fundamentals that it made him one of the greatest centers. Or sorry, not center. I'm gonna get fucking lynched by NBA people in the comments. Power forward, right? Power forward. But seriously, like, him being just so good and him practicing so much at the fundamentals made him arguably, if not, the greatest power forward of all time. This world like kind of convinces you that you need to, do this random thing. You need to be really good at this random skill. You need to really like maximize this like super flashy thing. But when you really boil down everything, it always comes down to fundamentals. And if you want a better way of thinking about this, just think of Pareto's principle, right? If you don't know, it's the 80-20 rule. That basically 80% of success, or 80% of whatever the case may be, usually comes from about 20% of the inputs, right? Like 80% of the profits usually come from like 20% of the clients, stuff like that, right? You need to maximize the 80%. You need to maximize the fundamentals because that's what will get you to the 80%. 20% is cool, right? That's still something. But 80% is 4 times bigger. You need to stick to the fundamentals like your life depends on it. Because that's how you actually get somewhere in life. That's how you actually grow. So many people try to maximize the 20%, but they're missing the 80%. Like the 80% is simple. Those are just fundamentals. The 80% is like free for the picking. Don't get your head all caught up in trying to chase the 20% when there's an easy 80% waiting for you. There's a principle in math and engineering, it feels like this, right? Where basically the closer you get to 100% efficiency, the increasingly harder it gets to get there, right? So to basically explain that, getting to 80% efficiency, that's pretty easy. It might take some measures, but like 80%, that's not that hard. Getting to 90%, that's a decent amount harder. It's not impossible, but it'll take a good amount of research, a good amount of planning, etc. Getting to 95% is way harder than it was to go from 0 to 80%. Because now you're eking out every single bit of efficiency. And it keeps on getting increasingly harder until you get to 100% efficiency. Like the leap from 99.99% efficiency to 100% efficiency is infinitely bigger than the leap from 0 to 99.99% efficiency. Like, do you see what I mean? The more that you invest in something, the more that you kind of pass that 80% mark, the more you get diminishing returns, which basically means the more effort you put into it, the less you're actually getting out of it. So if you want the most value, if you want to maximize your time, the utility of it, the efficiency of it, then what you do is you focus on the easiest gains. You focus on the 0 to 80%. Maybe it's even 85 or 90% if you want to get to that point. But you don't start off with trying to get like the 80 to the 100%, because for one, that's incredibly difficult to do, if not impossible most of the time. And for two, you're missing out the 0 to 80%. Go from the simple to the 80%, and then you'll at least be able to see, okay, I'm at 80%. Do I want to pursue this further? Do I want to do 85? Do I want to do 90%? Do I even want to push it further? At least get the easy gains, because that's really where a lot of the growth happens. That's really where a lot of the tangible, meaningful change happens. 80% to 100% is great, but 0 to 80% is such a massive change. You're literally at 0 before, and now you're at 80. You're already 4/5 of the way there. Start to maximize your time. Start to actually use it efficiently. Stop trying to chase the magical 20% and just maximize the 80%. So what does this look like for you, right? If you have an idea for something, whether it's like your body, your finances, whatever the case may be, stick from the 0 to the 80%. Don't try and hop between different things. What's the best way to make money? What's the best way to do this? Blah, 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 blah. Find something and stick with it. Because when you find something and stick with it, you're going from 0 to 80%. When you're searching everywhere, when you're turning your head like a chicken with schizophrenia, when you're turning, when you're being autistic as fuck, and when you're not just focusing in on one thing, you're, for one, trying to get from 80 to 100%, which is already difficult in of itself. And for two, you're still at 0%. You can't just jump here, bro. Make the gains first. Go from 0 to 80 first, and then worry about all that. Actually make some progress in something, and then worry about if it's the most efficient thing ever. I'm not saying to be a dumbass and not to do any research and not to think critically in the slightest about what you want to do and why you want to do it. But do you know how many people just hop between ideas, hop between this, hop between that, and they never actually get anywhere because they've never even given themselves the chance to go from 0 to 80%. Find something, do a little bit of research, whatever you need to do. It should take a day. And then once you have the plan, just stick with the plan. Stick to the fundamentals like Tim Duncan. Stick to the fundamentals, and they'll take you so much farther than it will by you trying to hop and find the most optimal, the most because really the overemphasized need for optimization, the overemphasized need for perfection, for getting it right on the first time, for finding the exact proper, this is 100% right. The need for that is really probably just rooted in childhood trauma of you feeling like you had to be perfect for your parents or whatever, right? Maybe they made you feel a type of way if you weren't doing everything exactly right. And so now you've carried this into your adult life, which in some cases can be useful. But in a lot of cases, it just leads to analysis paralysis. And you feel like you're doing something mentally because, oh, I'm thinking about all these different options. Look at me, I'm so smart, I'm so intelligent. I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, yeah, look at me. But in reality, you're just doing nothing. Stick with the plan. Find something, set it as your plan, and then just do it. Just do the plan. Execute the plan. Don't get distracted by this shiny thing over here. Just stick with the plan. Get from the 0 to 80%. And then once you're at the 80%, then you can reassess. Do I want to pursue this further? Is this maybe better to look at? But by going from the 0 to the 80% in this specific area, whatever the case may be, you'll have a better idea of how to navigate other things in the future, how to navigate progression in other skills and other tech trees, if you want to call it that, right? So seriously, in this age, we low-key have information overload. There's so many different things you can do. There's so many different people telling you to do this, telling you to do that. The best way you learn, the best way you master something, the best way you actually move forward in life is by finding something that reasonably makes sense, that isn't dumb, that kind of makes sense, that makes, that could work. And then you just stick with it. You shut out all other things and you just focus on that, stick with the plan, and see where it takes you. That's it for this one. I have a gym guide down in the description below. I haven't been talking about the gym that much because I'm honestly focusing on other areas of my life right now. But if you want to actually get if you actually want to get a well-built, beautiful, aesthetic, fucking sexy ass physique. That's it for this video. And so to give you one good example, let's just take the example of the gym, because that's what I kind of do around here, if you didn't get the memo, right? So the gym, you can either spend your first 6 months, you can spend like a year, bro. Because the thing with this, if you want another tangible example, let's take the gym, right? So the funny part is, you could think about the gym and think about going there and think about what workouts to do, calisthenics versus weights. Should I do like incline? Should I do like flat? Should I do dumbbells? Should I do like squats? Should I do yoga? Should I do Pilates? You could think about that for like months, probably a year. Like, there are people who have probably been thinking about the gym for years. Just think about that. Like over 1,000 days, like 3 years, over 1,000 days. There's probably people who have been thinking about going to the gym for over 1,000 days. And they still haven't gone. Because they're just thinking about, oh, what about this? What about that? What about that? Whereas anyone who's ever even been mildly consistent with the gym, I'll tell you, bro, just go there. Just go there, just do your workout, figure out what you like, figure out what you want to do, figure out your goals, and then adjust from there. Do you see how, if we compare two different timelines, right? Person A, they say they want to go to the gym. They ask a friend who goes there already, hey, can you give me a workout? Friend says, sure. And then they go to the gym. They just start working out. They do 2 or 3 times a week. They slowly scale it up over 3 months. Maybe they're going 4 times a week. They have some nice muscle. They have some nice noob gains, They're feeling good. They have a better idea of how the gym actually works, so they know if they want to proceed or not. They know how to adjust things now. They have a better understanding of everything. And they're able to actually make an informed decision, right? So that's person A. Or you could have person B, who basically just sits with their dick in their hand, thinking about, but if I change the angle of the barbell by 1 degree, then it might target other muscles. But if I do that, I might get too bulky in my trapezoid area, and that might be a little bit unseemly. And so actually, but I could do yoga anyways, and stretch out my body, because you don't want to be too fucking stiff and everything, Oh, but Pilates, it's magical for the you can either be person A and do something, have tangible results because of that, and then have a better idea of how to proceed, or you can just be person B and do nothing, because that's really all it is. You're just doing nothing, right? So for real, just stick with something. Make a plan, see what you want to do, and just stick with it. It's really not that hard. You would be surprised at just how much progress you can make if you just started turning off your brain, finding a plan, and just executing on it every day. That's really all this stuff takes. So many people see the results, the fruits of people's labor, and call it magic, right? One of my favorite quotes is right? Let's put it this way, right? The consistency of yesterday is like the magic of tomorrow, right? So many people see the end goal and they say, oh my God, how did he do that? Blah, blah, blah. Half the time, it's just because the person was consistent in whatever they were doing. They literally just had a plan. They found a good path to get to the end goal, and they just executed on the plan every single day. It really is that simple sometimes. So seriously, stick with the plan. Stop blah, 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 blah. Just find something and stick with the plan. I have a gym guide down in the description below. Click on that shit, it's gonna change your life. I'm not even just saying that just to say that. It's genuinely going to teach you so many things that you didn't even know about yourself. You're gonna be looking swole, you're gonna be looking sexy, your veins gonna be popping. It's gonna be a good ass time. Click the link down in the description below. But that's it for this video. A lot more videos on the way. I've just been busy. Life has been lifing. But we're back and we're ready to grind some more. I'll see you on the next one. The only way is up. Peace.